going on, everybody? So I'm doing some videos on air layering right now, and if you would like to follow the playlist that's connected to this video, you can see other propagation videos that I've made for air layering. But for this particular video, we're going to be air layering Barbados cherry. Now, I've never done Barbados cherry before. I'm following the same practices that I'm using for any of my other air layering, so it should work. There will be a single results video done at the end of this series connected to the playlist, where I'll be taking the foil off and you guys can see what the results are for all of the air layering that we're doing. So if you want to see the results, hopefully in about a month, just subscribe and check out that video. Alright, Barbados cherry air layering begins now.
We'll begin with the list of materials that are going to be needed for this project. You'll need aluminum foil, a grafting knife or a razor blade, Ziploc bags, and some medium like peat moss or cocoa core. You'll also need zip ties, and we recommend rooting hormone just to help the process. The first thing that we're going to start looking for is the nodes. Now, nodes are the little bumps that are on the outside of the bark. Those are either going to be where leaves are being formed or new branches are being formed. I want to have a node on the outside of each of these cuts and one in between both of them. So I take a knife and I make a circular cut around the Barbados cherry. It's really important with how thin the Barbados cherry is that you don't press so hard. You're just trying to get through this first layer of bark. So then you do one on the bottom and one on the top of where you're going to be doing the air layering. It's really important that you don't cut too deep. If you cut too deep, you could sever the node and then not have a good air layer and possibly kill that whole branch too. So then I'm going to take my grafting knife and I'm going to cut upwards just to put a line between the two cuts and then peel it off. This bark tends to stick a lot better than some of the other ones, so make sure that you get all of the outer layer of bark removed and have a nice view of the inner layer that's green here. Now I'm taking my grafting knife and I'm scraping the inner layer of the bark off. I want to expose the white cambium layer. This video, it's a lot easier to see that cambium layer than on my previous mulberry video, but it's still not perfect to see. Now, also remember, with this being thin, you don't want to go so deep that you're cutting through the branch itself. You still want it to be able to support itself. So I'm just making some final preparations here, taking off some of the extra inner bark on the back side, and then I'll be ready for the hormone. Now, the rooting hormone is not 100% necessary, but it does help with the process. It gives it that extra boost. If you're looking for every opportunity to improve air layering, rooting hormone will give that to you. So I just take a healthy layer and just apply it. It's important that between different species and different plants that you're cleaning your blade so that you're not transferring any of the plant diseases from one tree to another. Once I've got a healthy layer of rooting hormone on, then I'm going to start with my medium, which is, in this case, I'm using peat moss. You can use peat moss or cocoa core. It's good to get some kind of neutral substrate for that. So what I have is some moist peat moss in a Ziploc bag, and I'm going to cut down the center of the Ziploc bag just to expose it. You'll see the opening. I open it up just to make sure that it's open enough, and then I'm going to take that and I'm going to put it around the branch here. I want to make sure as much of that cocoa core is touching that newly exposed area as possible. Then I take some larger zip ties. I like to use the larger ones just because they always are long enough. You never have to add two, and they're just fast when you're trying to get it done quickly. So once I get that bottom one secure, I'll be doing the top as well. Just a note with Barbados cherries is they have kind of a irritating texture to the leaves. They will irritate your skin. So after doing this video, I was itchy for about a day. So I recommend using a long sleeve shirt and possibly gloves if you want to avoid this. It's not 100% necessary, but it did irritate my skin a little bit. So once the top and bottom are secure, I have a pair of pruners that I'll just clip the ends of these zip ties off just because I had it handy. I used fingernails or some dikes, whatever you are going to use, it doesn't matter, just cut them off. You don't want those poking through the foil. The last thing is I get my aluminum foil, and I will put the aluminum foil around the air layer, and the aluminum foil will protect the new air layer from UV exposure, just exposure to the sun in general, because roots just generally don't see the sun, and any other elements that might get in its way. Once I have it on there, it's good and tight, the air layer is finished. So if you want to see the results to this, subscribe to my channel and follow the playlist, and I'll be doing one results video at the very end once I'm actually able to see what the results are. So go ahead and subscribe, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this. There's a nice little Barbados cherry that's about to ripen in a few days. So we'll catch you next time. See you later. Bye.